Welcome to the Fat Life Podcast.
We're back and ready to rumble.
About time.
Yes, sir.
It's only been, 3 months now?
Yeah, 3 months. 3 long months.
Long months. Missed all of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's been good.
It's been grand.
Yeah. So, I guess we should just get it out of the way to start. We have a third member now. Officially, a third member of the Fat Life Podcast. Sounds like, we got so many hits on that one episode that we decided to make him a regular. He's our story aficionado.
Well, wait a second. Was the hits because of the stories, or was the hit because of the live engagement that happened on that? That had something to do with it.
I think it was you.
I think what we'll find out within the next couple weeks.
I think it was all you.
I agree. The stories that we went into, the topics that we had were so phenomenal and interesting and made people think that I think more people want to hear what you bring to the show. So we'll see how that goes. So without further ado, we welcome Mr. Peepaw himself, Mike, to the show.
Yeah, we'll just go by Peepaw.
Peepaw, we'll take it. All right, so producer Peepaw. So, what day is it today? It is May 6th. Our last show was February 21st, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been the week before that.
It was long ago.
A long time ago.
What time ago.
Us? An Xbox One?
Yeah.
I mean, my fault. I'll take it.
Yep. Absolutely your fault.
The Madden
Fortnite.
Curse strikes again.
Yeah.
The Madden
curse. There it is.
Carter getting annihilated.
Nah, let's not lie to the folks. Come on.
We're not. That's the sad part.
Come on.
The truth?
The truth.
Let's see. How tall are you?
6'3".
How much you weigh?
Unofficially 335.
All right. So 6'3", 335 Carter throwing remote controls at the couch and storming out like a baby is what the truth is, because he got his ass whooped.
And we talk about this one time that it happened like it happens every time.
It happened a lot of times.
It is what it is. Whatever.
Spanked.
Spanked. It's hard to spank someone when the only team you use is the Seahawks. I mean, come on.
I'm from Seattle.
It's not going to happen.
All you use is the Cardinals.
And we whoop ass.
Negative.
Every time.
Negative.
Every time.
All right, let's get into the show.
Let's get into the show.
How are you, Mike?
Where do you want to go start?
Well, just how are you? Small talk.
How am I? I'm good.
Good.
A little warm.
Excited for the idea of being on a podcast officially?
We shall see.
Okay. What are you looking for? You say we shall see, like there's something in particular that you're looking for to happen, whether or not you stay. Flow?
I want to hear it to have good flow. I want to have it good topics. I want to be able to tell people, hey, listen to this, and not worry about what they're going to think after they hear it. So, not that I have in the past listening to what you guys have, because
that's why we stay politically free.
No politics whatsoever. That's going to be hard, but we won't do that. But I want people to listen, and I want people to come back and listen for more.
True. Now, you and I both did something different that we haven't really done before. Within the last, 5-6 years, Facebook has kind of taken over the world.
Yeah.
Everyone revolves around Facebook. Our lives revolve around Facebook.
Yep.
And we both came to the conclusion that we were just going to not necessarily delete the profile because it's there if somebody wants to find us and get a hold of us.
Right.
For whatever reason. But we no longer go on every day and check it and see the bullshit that's out there.
I don't actively pursue what's going on Facebook anymore. It's not worth my time.
Now, it's been, a week now? Maybe a week and a half for you?
About a week and a half.
How do you feel?
It was weird, if we're going to be honest. Yeah. The first 48 hours were tough because I have a sedentary job where I sit all day long.
Right.
And I have time to pick up my phone and look at it while I'm doing my work. Sure. And not to go to that old faithful just to see what was going on or see who's doing what or what's doing. The first 48 hours were hard, but I wanted to stick to it because 2 reasons. Number one, I strongly believe in the reason why I stopped posting on it as frequently as I had.
Which was what?
There's too much bullshit that's going on there. Too much negativity. Do I really need to see what you're doing in the bathroom when you're in the bathroom? Do I really need to know what you ate for dinner last night and how you cooked it? The politics, forget the politics. The politics bothered me a lot because there's some people out there I really respect.
Sure.
And you read their political views and you just scratch your head. And there came to a point that you had to step back and say, okay, we could disagree on the internet but still be friends. But there was just so much negativity. And then the last thing that pushed me over the edge was the Red for Ed campaign that was going on. For those that don't know, the teachers in Arizona walked out of their classrooms and they went on strike for more pay. They're ranked 49th in pay.
Yep.
In the United States as far as teaching go, which to me has always baffled me. Always baffled me. You can get an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old that can shoot a three-pointer and give him millions of dollars, but you don't want to support people that are molding our future, the future generations. You don't want to give them the money that they're due. They take their lives literally in their hands anymore when they go into a classroom, as we're seeing more and more too frequently. Well, they went on strike, and there's a local news station that liked to post comments, and one of the things they did was they showed them marching down the streets during the first couple of days that they were on strike, and then people comment.
This was downtown Phoenix that they were marching.
Downtown Phoenix, right?
Okay.
And local people comment.
Right.
They see the video and they comment what they think, and some of the comments were just so asinine,
right,
so benign, so negative. Look how fat they are. Do they really need a pay raise? And a drone just flew over.
I heard that.
So that's kind of odd. We're being watched already. So anyway, that kind of negativity I don't want to get sucked into.
Okay.
I don't want to waste time thinking about.
Understandable.
But on the flip side, you've got friends, you've got family that you don't see on a regular basis, that it's nice to see pictures when pictures are taken. I've got a grandson on the way that I can't wait to be able to take a picture and show the world.
Right.
And here it comes back again.
Yeah, I hear it too.
Yeah. So anyway, we're outside for those that didn't know.
Doing it out in nature.
But anyway, that was the reason why I turned off Facebook, and it was a good thing to turn it off.
Okay. Now, I personally did it for the same reasons. I get myself in trouble on Facebook over mentioning things I don't necessarily need to talk about, and I tend to go to Facebook first and foremost. Do you use Instagram at all?
I
In any
have
sense?
it.
Okay.
I have it, and I have Snapchat. But to be honest with you, I'm 57 years old, so
Understandable.
I don't really know how to operate any of them. As you've seen some of the snaps I've sent, I really don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Okay.
So, but in some sense though, Facebook is good when you got something like Reggie, Last Wish Foundation, the organization that you have and what it stands for. That's an excellent way to get it out there to the public,
right?
And people should be able to see it. So in that sense, I like it. And with the fundraiser you have going on, that's the kind of publicity and marketing you need to be successful. So there's a good side to Facebook, and then there's the negative side. I think the negative side is making younger people less social, less likely, and I think technology is doing that on a whole, less likely to be able to have a conversation with somebody. It's easier to text. I was watching something the other day, and they said they couldn't believe, what were we watching? Oh, the Karate Kid series, Cobra Kai.
Okay.
And the one guy, Johnny, comes up to this kid, and the kid says, "You don't know how hard it is to be a kid today." He says, "People are mean." He says, "They get on Facebook." He says, "They get on their little chats, and they write really nasty things about you. And it's easy because they don't have to face you."
It's very true.
And Johnny said, that's the problem with kids today. He says, in his day, and we're going back 1980, if you had a problem, you went face to face with that person and said you had a problem.
Right.
And there the conflict resolved. But now you can do it. You can cyberbully.
Right.
And that's just a shame.
It's true. That's very true. Well, the only reason I brought it up is because I know I've been doing this now for about the same amount of time, week and a half, maybe 2 weeks now, and I've turned to Instagram as for if I'm going to post anything, I post it to Instagram now, only because I have a smaller following on Instagram than I did on Facebook, less coworkers, less just random people in my life. On Instagram, I have more family and stuff, so I'm not the type of person that posts a bunch of stuff about my kids anyways, as it is. But if I do post it, it's going to be there versus Facebook because of the crap going on with Facebook, the algorithms that are reading every little thing you're going through and or what you're typing and searching. Instagram, it's post a video, post a pic, you're done. Instant, move on.
Hashtag wish you were here.
Hashtag wish you were here. Thanks for
Gay
that
boy.
one.
Well, it's really cool because one of my good friends, one of my oldest friends, Amy from New York, when I said I wasn't going to go on Facebook anymore, posted that I needed to go on Instagram.
Right.
And I'd always been on Instagram, Peepaw but I'd always been on Instagram.
Shameless
And
plug.
like the next day, she sent me a picture of my dad from 1975 with her dad.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That is unreal. I mean, that is something
That's really
I just
cool.
don't have. So, and it brought back a lot of memories. So Instagram's cool.
That's just it. It's like social media wise, today's, let's see, what the hell do you call it? Attention span
Yeah.
is
Attention
so
deficit.
little that it's like if you just post a picture, cool. That's,
Right.
you can scroll through that. But
Right.
most people, if you post a damn paragraph, they're not going to take the time to read it.
Right. Right.
So it's like you become unsensitized to the world and don't really know what the hell's going on because you don't take the time to truly read it. You just, I liked it, but I didn't actually read what the hell was going on.
How connected do we need to be?
Listen, I keep my circle small.
Well, and not just that, but I mean, we have become a race of people that want stuff instantaneously. We want it when we want it.
Yeah.
You want the latest movie that's at the theater? Download it
Yep.
so you can watch it right away.
It's like Allie with chips and salsa last night.
Yeah, exactly. Shocked the hell out of me that he was able to go online, order chips, cheese, and salsa, and pay $8 for it, and like a half hour later, somebody delivered it at the door.
That's how. Oh,
Yeah,
so you
I did
Chipotle,
Postmates. I did Postmates.
That's
through
what's up.
Chipotle.
Instead of calling me.
And
that's all
your
I
dad, you don't tip? I said, it's all through the app.
It's all through the app.
He said, what, people don't talk these days?
Well, they don't.
I discovered this on Friday with Uber Eats.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the office and my lunch wasn't
Did yours
for another
finally
3.
work?
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing.
Uber
so
Eats hasn't worked in forever.
I ordered Uber Eats and I got McDonald's because it's right around the street from the office. And I was like, I want to get breakfast. I don't want to get breakfast. I hate McDonald's as breakfast, but I want to get something and it's close and I know I'm not going to be waiting forever. So I did Uber Eats for the first time.
Yep.
And I ordered, a couple things for myself, something for my supervisor, something for another lead of mine. And within 20 minutes, the kid's sitting at the door like, hey, got your food. I'm like, wow, this is super simple. So later, like maybe a half hour later, I hit up a friend of mine. I'm like, hey, you hungry? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, boom, food's on their way. Done. It's like the easiest thing in the world.
Okay, do you remember the Walt Disney movie WALL-E?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, that's exactly where
When
we're
he
going.
finally got onto the spaceship and there was the guy that was in the chair.
Yeah.
And he didn't move. The chair moved from one place where he opened his mouth and food went in, went to the next place. I mean, what's it take to get up and get in your car and go drive to McDonald's, which is right around the corner?
I agree with you 100%. Here's where I would argue the fact.
Stairs?
Stairs. But for a father of 2, a father of 3, living on his own, loading the kids up into the car just to go down the street to get food, it's a bit much. And nowadays,
Leave the windows cracked.
Huh?
Leave the windows cracked.
Leave them home.
in the state of Arizona,
Leave them home. Put on a good movie.
last time I did that, I got yelled at, so I won't do that again.
Yeah, no.
Because you did it here.
Well, yeah, camera saw me leave without the kids. No, not
Nobody.
nobody. And if she does, I'll get a phone call tomorrow. Whatever. You don't come at me and tell me, hey, meet me at this grocery store, and then tell me, oh, I'm grocery shopping real quick. Just watch the kids.
Okay, no politics.
No politics.
Special boy.
So what's been going on with you, Reggie? What's new?
Work. It's the first weekend I've actually had off in 3 months. It's
That's
incredible.
amazing.
That's part of the reason I think, the podcast has gone on hold. Because my work schedule has literally been, every day for the
has
last
been.
3 months. I've had the occasional day off here or there, but nothing back to back, so it's quite nice, quite enjoyable.
Very nice.
Baby's on the way.
Yeah, excited
Tucker.
for that.
Yep. Archie Bradley, if you're listening, my son's going to take your position. So just be ready to coach him because he'll be better than you. 6'4", 230. That's what I tell the belly and the OB. So you be ready.
I kind of want Archie Bradley to come on the show. So Archie, there's no hard feelings there.
No, his ejection last night was bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Come on.
I didn't understand that at all.
All because-
Ejected from the game. He even
A
stayed.
relief pitcher.
Yeah, but he stayed in the dugout.
Right.
He just happened to go to the top of it and say, "Really?" and got
Right.
ejected.
Yeah.
So it was a joke. But hey, AJ Pollock 2 days in a row winning
2
the
days
game.
in a
That's
row.
impressive.
April, MLB National League Player of the Month for April, and he's heading that way for May, too.
Yep,
Guy's on fire.
absolutely. That's why the Yankees want him.
I just hope that the Diamondbacks start getting some national respect and not just think it's a fluke. Because here we are in May. They did a hell of a job in April. They haven't lost a series yet. Now, they tied one series
With the Dodgers.
but that was a 4-game series, and that's really the problem of a 4-game series.
Yeah.
They tied that series, but to go up against the World Series champions, Houston Astros, who I really didn't take much stock in, because we, not being in that market, really don't get to see them play all that often.
Right.
Friday, they gave a shellacking to the Diamondbacks.
They did.
But then again, we had a farm league pitcher who was brought up, and our offense has pretty much, except for Pollock, been non-existent for the past week or so.
Yep.
But to come back and win 2 games in a row, so they take the series from the world champions, that's got to say something about this team. This team's doing it on...
Well, and against Verlander.
And Verlander. Yeah,
You know.
exactly. This team's doing it on broken down pitching, but yet the pitchers that come up to step up, except for that mistake Friday, they have been, it used to be Arian's old saying, next man up. They've just been outstanding. Even to get through the little bit of offense. Now, I do believe Goldie needs to maybe go down in the batting order a little bit.
Goalie's number 1 right now, right?
No, he's
three.
three
Yeah.
batter.
Where'd you put him?
7.
Seven?
Seven,
Seven.
yeah.
Make him earn
Ahmed
it.
has been doing a hell of a lot more
You make
than
him earn it.
Goldie. Yeah, I
Make him
definitely
earn
would.
it.
I get it.
Well, that kid last night, Morano or whatever.
That-
Moraro, yeah, third
Yeah,
baseman.
The supposedly the new Goldie.
Right,
Bump him up. He's done great.
right.
Done great so far.
Well, he's been flipping back and forth with Del Calso, and Del Calso is just unbelievable. But I just hope they start getting some respect. Last week they were tied in the power rankings for number 2 with the Astros.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see tomorrow what the sports writers think.
So, going off of that idea, what do you think it is about the Diamondbacks, or is it the state of Arizona in
It's
general?
the state of Arizona.
What is it about Arizona that
I
just doesn't get respect?
Not a clue. I have not. I was thinking about this earlier today. We have had. I can name instances where we've just gotten screwed. Whether it was the referee that was a gambling addict
Against the Suns?
against the Suns. Every year, the Suns with D'Antoni had a chance to go to the playoffs.
got screwed.
They get in the playoffs, and then they get screwed. And then it comes out afterwards that there was a thing going on with the refs and everything. I mean, that just sucks. I go back to the Pittsburgh Cardinals Super Bowl, and that catch that they called a touchdown on Pittsburgh, where the guy had his foot
Santonio Holmes. in
out of
the end
bounds.
zone.
Out of bounds, but they called it a touchdown. Otherwise, Cardinals win. So, it's just you can count it.
But even then, the Cardinals going to the Super Bowl was, to everyone else, a fluke. Everyone thought it was a fluke. It
Right.
was just a Cinderella story. When the Cardinals made their run 4 years ago, and they wound up getting smashed by Carolina, everyone was like, what did you expect? They weren't a good team.
Right.
But we'd done so much that season to get there.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it is the state of Arizona. We just don't get any respect at all when it comes to sports. Obviously, the fan bases out here, the fans that we do have are diehard, but it stays here. You don't go anywhere else. Like most teams, you can go anywhere and there's fans somewhere.
Right.
In Arizona, you're either here or you're not a fan.
Right.
And even
Right.
the fans here are only fans when their team's not in town.
Right.
So, I don't know.
I don't know how many games I've gone through where we get tickets from work and we've gone to where if it's the Dodgers, we're sitting with Dodger fans.
Right.
If it's anything else, it's that team, Cubs. We're sitting with Cubs. Now, I realize the Cubs have a lot of transplants out here.
Yep.
Dodgers, I really don't understand. But it's any LA team.
I think it's more of fair weather fans
Oh, yeah.
that you guys have.
Oh, yeah, I
So,
agree
like,
with that.
for me, being from Seattle, obviously a Seahawks fan, but with Arizona, you go to the playoffs, or you guys went to the Super Bowl,
Yep.
and the next 4 seasons were sold out. But they did nothing with it, Cardinals-wise. Same with Diamondbacks. Win a World Series, never did anything with it. They've been back and forth to the playoffs here and there. Last year was a great series, playoffs-wise, that they just happened to lose to, the Dodgers, who then went on.
Was it a great series, though? The first game, that wild card game, was great because we did
Right.
what we expected to do.
Right.
Then we went into LA and got mollywopped
Yeah,
by
exactly.
LA for
Right.
4 straight games.
Right.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, they did well, though, and they continued to progress
Sure. Sure.
throughout the season.
They went further than I think anybody expected them to go.
So I feel like if Cardinals and Diamondbacks were to have consecutive seasons that they're progressing into the playoffs, and then either getting to the NLDS or the NLCS and then going to the World Series or going to...
I agree with you. I think with the Cardinals and the Suns, it's ownership. I think, back in the day, it was Colangelo.
Yeah.
And star players used to come to Phoenix to play.
Well, because they
and would
respected
take-
him.
And would take the least amount of money to come and play, knowing that if they produced, that Colangelo would take care of them.
Right.
And they respected him. There was that level of respect. We have no respect here and now.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the same
We have
thing with
no
the
respect.
Diamondbacks? Didn't he own the Diamondbacks
He owned the
for a short period of time?
Diamondbacks they went to the World Series. He guaranteed that they would go to the World Series, and they did. He bought kind of what Steinbrenner used to do with the Yankees. He bought the talent. I mean, to have a pitching staff that had Reggie Johnson and Kurt Schilling
Randy
back. Randy Johnson, I'm sorry. Back to back. I mean, that just doesn't happen these
and
days.
to have Randy Johnson come out in the 9th inning and close out the World Series.
So then with the Cardinals, you had Bidwell as the owner, the father, Bill Bidwell. That was just such a
Heinous.
cheapskate.
Such a horrible guy.
Yeah, and just didn't pay anything, and we got what was paid for.
Yeah.
And I think that had a lot to do with it. Now, when his son took over, Michael Bidwell took over, he made an effort to change the culture of what they were doing, and it showed. And I think their progression as a team has shown to where they make the playoffs, to where they're a little bit better contenders. Now, they weren't last year, but they were plagued with injuries.
Sure.
So, and I think that's the problem.
I said it this year. I think the AFC West, which is our division, correct?
NFC.
NFC.
I'm sorry, NFC West, is going to be the best division of football.
I disagree.
You're
Maybe.
nuts.
I disagree
Seahawks,
because I don't think the Cardinals are going to be
Cardinals, 49ers, Rams, and if I'm not mistaken, the Chargers.
contenders. No, the Chargers, AFC.
No?
Right.
Okay.
They have the potential of being a pretty good. I don't know, and I know you're a Seahawk fan, and that's too bad. But I don't know that Seattle's going to do anything this year. And I don't know what Arizona's going to do this year because it's all brand new. Now, if Bradford stays healthy, they have a very good chance. And you're shaking your head no. Why you
I
don't think
disagree
he can?
because I don't think he can, but I think that they would be better off with Josh behind the helm than
no.
Bradford.
No. Josh scares the hell out of me, I'll be honest with you.
Why?
I was excited at first because he's got a loud mouth.
See, I agree.
And a lot of people...
His comments right after the draft about being picked number 10th and how he
Right.
was bummed out about that. It's like, you got picked top 10.
Right.
Shut up and deal with it. Like,
And when you're looking at the sports writers and they're saying that he wasn't that great at UCLA.
He
that
wasn't.
People didn't like him because of his mouth and because of his attitude and because he's a rich boy.
I
That
agreed.
kind of is Leinart.
I mean,
And we know where that went.
I agree.
So the proof is going to be,
Can he hold
put up or shut up.
Yeah.
So then you got to pray that Bradford stays healthy.
Agreed. I don't know. I'm excited to see what he does in preseason. I'm excited to go to Cardinals camp this year.
I want to see him get mollywopped. Just smacked upside the head.
Yeah, give him one good hit. Show him he's in the NFL and see
Not
if he
one.
can bounce back
Like
from
10.
it. Let's just see
Bring
if he can
Darnell
do it.
Dockett back just for camp and take
to
that
show
red
what it's
shirt
like
off.
to get hit.
Take the red shirt off and,
Yeah.
I'd love it. He's got that giant ass nose.
He does.
Like the toucan
He does.
from The Simpsons. Oh my
does.
god.
Mills did.
Yeah. Giant nose.
So that's where we've been.
Yep, that's where we've
That's
been.
where we've been. It's only been 3-4 months now, so I'm excited to get this thing going. Let's go. What do you got for us today?
Well, I've got a few stories to do with. I kind of try to go with what was bizarre
Okay.
and maybe a little bit about what's real. One I found that just really struck me as funny. So we'll start with that one first. And this is from the Huffington Post.
Okay.
Superintendent accused of pooping at school's athletic fields.
What did he say?
A school superintendent in Homedale, New Jersey, is facing some pretty crappy criminal charges after being accused of public defecation. Thomas Trauma. Oh, are you kidding me?
What?
Tell me I have to subscribe to get the rest of the story?
Should be an option to just keep reading.
Oh, damn.
Anyway, long story short, this guy was caught. They started noticing at the football field that they were finding human feces on the field.
On the field.
On the field. And first couple of times they went, okay, this is a little bizarre, what's going on? And so they did a stakeout. And they actually said over the course of the month, this guy went out there 8 different times early morning and took a dump on the football field. No reason as to why.
Nothing.
Nothing as to...
School doesn't have a reputation.
Doesn't have a reputation.
Just-
He's a superintendent.
Of the whole district.
Right. He's not like a vice principal. Or a teacher. They're too busy having sex with their students.
Here's the first issue. He gets paid $147,504 a year.
He can't afford a toilet.
He just feels he can take a shit wherever he wants. But why would you go shit on the football field at a school that's in your district when your district office is probably elsewhere? Like, why go through the trouble of going all the way out there?
That just really struck me as odd.
Jesus.
Struck me as odd. The second story I had, this is a good one.
And he's on paid leave.
Yeah, they didn't even fire him. They just put him on paid
Paying
leave.
him for that shit.
Maybe he had the runs.
Well, come
8
on.
different times?
Or maybe he was out running the track, getting a good morning workout in.
Okay,
and
so
then
I
boom,
would give you that. And then I
breakfast,
feel
egg and cheese hit. Oh, shit.
Hey.
I got a shit.
that Ed McMuffin-
I think the police department that sniffed out that really did a fine job.
it's-
Taking a swipe at crime. This story's from Argentina. This is a good one. Several police officers were fired in Argentina after blaming mice for eating hundreds of pounds of marijuana that was missing from a police warehouse. Experts say mice would not see it as a food. A half a ton of marijuana went missing from a police warehouse in Argentina. The pot had been impounded there for a couple of years, but a recent inspection showed that the inventory was off. 8 police officers have since been fired over this. Their explanation? They say the pot was eaten by mice. Forensic experts say mice can tell the difference between pot and food, unlike some people I know. And they wouldn't have ingested a half a ton of marijuana. And while we're at it, the dog probably didn't eat your homework either. Nothing like a forensic expert with a sense of humor,
That's
good.
writing.
right?
Very good writing.
So my question is, were the police officers stoned when they tried to pass it off as mice being the ones that ate it?
You know what? I don't. That's a hell of a story to be like.
Where was this from?
Argentina.
Argentina. I wouldn't doubt it.
Half a ton of marijuana. How much do you think that street value of that
Jesus.
would have been?
Oh God, half a ton. You're talking about a couple mil. Easily. That's shit. Because thinking about ounces go for, depending on the cut, make, a street value, 32 grams, 10 a gram, sometimes 20 a gram.
Why do you know all these numbers? You want to know? I have a story
You have a story?
about how selfish children are these days.
Okay.
All right. 13-year-old Trenton M. from Mobile, Alabama,
Okay.
was pronounced brain dead from a trauma from a freak utility vehicle accident. After a few days, his parents signed organ donation papers
Okay.
for 5 separate children needing transplants.
Okay.
30 seconds after they signed the papers, the son came right back to life.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
Yep. It's a miracle, says USA Today.
Wow.
Is it?
Yep. The day before doctors
playing
were set
dumb?
to pull the plug on his life support systems, Trenton started showing signs of mental cognition,
So he didn't even have mental. So he
and-
couldn't have been playing dumb.
and he now says he went to heaven before he was brought back to earth. I was in an open field, walking straight. There's no other explanation but God. There's no other way. Even doctors said it. So, I mean, that's a pretty cool story, come back to life. But that's just selfish. Think of the 5 kids he could have saved.
I mean, okay. There's like no explanation for that.
Right.
I'm speechless on that one.
That's pretty cool, though.
That's
That's
kind of
definitely
bizarre.
interesting.
Kind of bizarre.
Dr. House must have been on the case.
Yeah, so he was misdiagnosed.
Yes.
So did you guys see what happened in Hawaii?
Yeah, I wanted to talk
The
about
volcanoes?
the volcano.
Yeah. Is the end of the world coming?
Well, I saw a story this morning on CNN where they were interviewing a guy who was 57 years old, and he built his house from scratch
Okay.
and built his house there. And apparently, there's neighboring homes all around this place. And he had to evacuate.
I've seen it.
He's been gone for 9 hours and has no idea whether his house is still there or not. I believe they've already lost 9 structures.
Yeah.
And he said that the way it is because it's his whole life that he did there at 57 years old, no retirement to fall back on. If that house has to be rebuilt and everything, he's screwed. So then my question is,
Well, there's no lava insurance.
oh, no. But here's my question. It was a fucking volcano.
Yeah.
It's an act of God in that.
They all lived around a volcano.
Right. They're nuts.
So do I feel sorry for you for living by a volcano? You got to swim with sharks. There's a good chance you're gonna get bit.
Your daughter goes to a university next to what was a active volcano at one point.
Hundreds and hundreds of years ago,
Okay.
this volcano has erupted in the past.
That's a valid point. It's the same dumbasses that put their houses right on the water and don't understand why a hurricane just pushes them right over.
No, the people that keep rebuilding in Hurricane Alley, even though their trailer gets
Exactly.
wiped out.
Or Tornado Alley with the Midwest and that whole belt right there.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, some people, maybe the people in Tornado Alley, that's what they can afford, and that's where they choose to live because that's where they're from. But this place in Hawaii looks like it's paradise, and everybody wants to live in paradise. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes paradise has a price.
It's true. That's true. And I have to say, as fucked up as it sounds, these pictures are fantastic. Of the lava and the shit going up in flames because the lava's touching it. I mean, this is the stuff that as a kid you would see in books and documentaries, and you never saw this kind of thing happen. And now we're living in an age where in Hawaii, it was the 6.9 earthquake sets this thing off. And I'm getting to see it firsthand with these videos that are coming out. And it's beautiful.
Are we sure it's real?
Absolutely beautiful. I mean,
It's
what
not
else could
fake?
it possibly be?
It's not fake like the fake nuclear text.
Well, they're saying they're actually saying that the lava in sometimes was spewing 60 feet in the air.
Oh, wow.
That's hot. When it comes down, it goes right through whatever it
Yeah,
lands on.
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, and then the gases that come out are toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a
'Cause
real
it's very
dangerous place right
sulfuric,
now.
isn't it?
Right.
Very sulfuric.
And there's been 6.95. Yesterday was a 6.95 earthquake there.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's pretty unstable right now.
So, how long until the big one hits?
Hawaii or California?
No, well, California's just an earthquake. I'm talking about the volcano up north. What is it? Is it Yosemite?
Mount McKinley? It already went off.
No, is it Kinley? Is it what's the Yellowstone? When does Yellowstone burst? Because you know that one's going. And you know Yellowstone isn't Yellowstone with the
geysers.
Geysers.
That's an active volcano right there. That's just waiting to explode. And if that thing explodes, you can say goodbye to the whole West Coast.
I don't know. I don't know enough about that to want to.
No, there's a. This
Where's
was
McKinley?
Washington.
Mount McKinley.
That is Washington. Okay.
No, there was an article back in the day that if Yellowstone ever erupts, the actual volcanic ash would go all the way to Washington.
Yeah.
And that's
Washington State.
yeah.
Well, they were saying from what I had heard what they were saying was that it would come as far south as Mexico.
That's crazy.
If the winds picked it up, we would be in. Basically, clouds of ash with it because it would just carry itself down. I don't know. I'm not a. I guess I'm more of a flat earther who believes that it's just going to
dear
sit right
Lord.
there.
Oh, stop!
I'm not surprised that you're a flat
Oh my
earther.
god! I had this conversation with a guy at work the other day where he said something and I was like, I don't know conspiracies. He's like, don't tell me you're a flat earther, and I was like, I'm not gonna say that I am a flat earther, but have you ever seen a picture from a spaceship outside of the atmosphere? He said, yeah. I said, that's digital, and I just went on a whole rant about being a flat earther and I find it funny. Illuminati, all that stuff
You're
is
special.
fun. I try to be.
Special boy.
I try to be. So do you have a third story?
Well, Hawaii was my
Hawaii
third
was the
story.
third story?
Yeah,
Good
Hawaii
job,
was
Carter.
my third
Good
story.
job.
Making sure.
Stealing his
So,
limelight.
Although I did read, I did have it. I didn't print it out, and I should have. That recently, the former Department of Defense director
Okay.
announced that UFOs are real.
Yeah.
That they
Yeah.
are real.
Have you not seen this? Oh, I sent it to you. So General Madison Trump had talked about doing a Space Force.
Oh God, yes, that guy.
Hold on, I gotta find you though.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Because if I'm not mistaken, I had sent you a video.
Yeah, I told him to send it to you
I just
too,
have
'cause you
to
would appreciate
find it. So give me a moment, please.
it. That was a while ago.
Yeah. You'll laugh at the.
Babe, we can't hear you.
This is Derek White to Donald Trump. You've really got me stumped.
He's one-legged. He lost his leg in Afghanistan.
Because I lost my leg in the war. And I can't count up to 10 toes anymore.
Oh, that's wrong.
So please let me into your Space Force. Far above the world. 'Cause planet Earth is blue and I'll win these wars for you.
Oh, that's pretty talented. That's pretty talented.
Rest in peace, David Bowie.
God.
But yeah, there's this talk about a Space Force now that I find quite interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I just found it interesting. Last night I was watching on Amazon the Phoenix Lights. Mm-hmm. There's a 2-hour documentary on it that was really interesting because there was so much stuff that happened prior to it that I didn't realize that I just found really. And these were commercial airline pilots they interviewed. There were 2 fighters from Luke Air Force Base that got interviewed that all had witnessed it. I mean, it was some pretty bizarre stuff.
Right.
Pretty bizarre
We
stuff.
all heard your story about it when you were younger. So it's definitely something that I think affected a lot of people in Arizona.
Oh, I had nothing to do with Phoenix Lights when I
No,
was young. That was
you
a
were
totally
the
different
other
story.
one, yeah.
That was a totally different story.
So
but
there's another movie. This is what I was speaking of when I mentioned it last night, and I didn't remember the title. It's called Phoenix Forgotten.
Yes, that was the movie.
that's like the found footage video where they pretend.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a real movie.
Right, but it links with that
Right,
documentary
right.
very, very well.
Right, right. Right, that was kind of like a Blair Witch kind of
Yeah,
movie. Like we found
absolutely.
the footage of these people that
Right.
disappeared.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no,
Cloverfield-esque.
yeah, that whole thing with the Phoenix Lights though, that happens quite a bit around here. That it's for somebody to finally say, yeah, they're real. I mean, that's important. I think that's something that needs to be, accepted. I was listening to somebody the other day on the radio said, "Oh yeah, I believe there's intelligent life elsewhere. I just don't believe that they're smart enough to fly."
Well, there was
Okay.
a couple months back when that director had stated, it was either the Department of Defense or the director of the CIA at the time, had stated that in the U.S. alone there was 4,753 confirmed UFO sightings in the U.S. And like that shit's insane.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Because it's like, what exactly do you consider a UFO?
Right.
And where's the evidence?
Right. That's really interesting. It's I don't know. We've changed so much as a society. Why not believe in it?
Yeah. I'm all for it.
Let's talk movies for a minute.
Movies.
You saw Infinity Wars.
I did.
You're the only one here who's seen it.
I have.
You and I are the only ones that care about it.
But yeah, Reggie doesn't.
Reggie doesn't at all. So you can take a seat for this one.
Hey, I'm a little pissed off though. You made me stop watching Black Panther last night.
I didn't make you do anything. You could
Bitch, you pressed pause and then you left.
You said pause it while we finish the Diamondbacks game, and then I had to leave. I've got
Yeah.
kids. I got to take them
It was
home.
8:30. They could have finished
No,
it.
it was not. It was 9:30 by the time the game was
Oh,
over.
shut up.
The point, and it had an hour and 20 minutes left, first of all. But in your opinion, because I've been seeing a lot of mixed reviews from people, have been saying, I don't understand why they did everything that they did. Obviously, we know people are going to die.
Right.
You know who. But in your opinion, do you feel like they took it too far? Or do you feel like they did exactly what you wanted to see happen to the universe? In the aspect of you needed a villain eventually in the universe that was going to conquer in some way, shape, or form.
It dropped. It made me drop my mouth. I mean, there were ones that went that I was surprised.
Right.
That went. The best thing I could relate it to is the guy who plays the Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, I think his name is, was being interviewed after they saw the premiere, because none of the actors actually saw the movie until that night they showed it in Hollywood for the grand premiere. And Jimmy Kimmel asked him, he says, so were there any surprises for you? He says, about a quarter of the way of the movie, he says, I literally said out loud, oh no, they didn't. He says that people looked at me and I felt embarrassed. He said, so it shocked me. And so I was expecting there were going to be shocks because I had heard that.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of how much of a shock it was, that it was. Do I think they went too far? No. I think what's interesting is they flipped the card. They flipped the card because they led you up for a year or 2 years now thinking that the originals, this is the end.
Yeah.
They're branching off into a new direction, and that's not what they did. So I think people didn't realize there were going to be two movies. I always knew there'd be two movies. Any more Hollywood, if they can milk three out of it, they'll milk three out of it.
It seemed like when they said they were doing Infinity Wars, the first thing everyone said was Infinity War 1, Infinity War 2.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
Because you can't capture the comic book galore of Infinity War in one movie, because there's so much that's branched from Infinity Wars.
Right.
Obviously, it's impossible to encapsulate all that into one film.
Right.
But I guess what my thought is, because obviously, I've never seen it, but I know certain people who you told me about, and I will warn anybody who's listening to this, spoiler alert. So you got 3 seconds to...
3, 2, 1.
Are we finally going to get a Black Spider-Man?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
You think he'll come back?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, one thing you have to realize, I even come to realize after watching all these things on YouTube, that even Gamora's going to come back.
Really?
Because they're in the soul, the last stone that they get is the soul stone.
Okay.
And the soul,
which we haven't seen at any point in the movies till now.
Infinity War is the first one. And if you got to be a real fanatic, which I admit I'm not,
Okay.
because during the movie, Thanos knows that Gamora knows where the Soul Stone is only because in the second Guardians movie, she tells Nebula that he can't win
Without it.
because she knows where the last stone is and he'll never know where it is.
Okay.
And
Makes sense.
so the Soul Stone has the power of drawing the souls. So I believe that everybody that dies because of this war is in the Soul Stone. And I think that they can be brought out of the Soul Stone.
And
that's something that
replenished.
right. That's something that the comic book did.
Okay.
There are a few that died though that I don't think that will happen to.
And we'll leave that
So,
there so that
right.
people have a chance to see
Right.
if they happen. But I was really hoping when you told me about Parker that obviously they're going to still continue with this franchise because Homecoming was phenomenal.
It was
It was the first
Spider-Man
one that
so
they've
far.
done that they've done it
Right.
absolutely right.
Tom Holland has the part down.
Incredible. And I wanted to see, selfishly, I wanted to see Donald Glover take over because I want the Black Spider-Man. I want that. At the same time, and this is leading into what my next topic is when it comes to movies is Black Panther. We got about halfway through it last night. I was thoroughly impressed with the half that I did see. Want to finish it eventually, but there's no urge for me to say let's finish it because
You haven't seen anything yet.
right. We got into
Yeah.
some pretty good stuff last night. That car chase was impressive.
Right.
The questioning scene was impressive. The technology they incorporate with Wakanda and everything was very impressive in the storyline. And the fighting scene when he does the challenge and takes the Black Panther out of him and fights as just a normal Wakandan was impressive. I really liked the whole storyline to that point. But I don't feel drawn to it. And maybe this is because I'm a white man.
Spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1. The villain
Yeah.
is the son of the brother that was killed. The brother in the very beginning.
Who was killed?
The dude from This Is Us who had to go back
When did
on
the
trial.
dad-
When did
Oh.
he actually die?
They
The
took him
dad
back on
dies.
trial, and because he betrayed Wakanda, they
So I'm
executed
guessing
him.
they explained that.
They
then.
explain that.
Okay,
And the son
because
is he's
I
the son,
assumed,
and he goes to take the throne of Wakanda because he's rightful heir.
because he is.
Which
And
one?
The son.
He's the Jordan
The-
B. Vance character.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
okay.
Michael Jordan.
Michael B.
Michael,
Jordan.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Sorry, why is Jordan Vance?
He actually challenges, and they take the Black Panther out of him.
I've seen that.
And he
I've
wins.
Seen this site. He does.
Black Panther loses,
Yeah.
and for all you know, the Black Panther's dead.
Huh.
Yeah. And
So
then
then, how
his
do you bring him into Infinity War?
his whole thing is, let's get back at repression. All of the people have been repressed through all the ages, in all over the world, not just the United States, all over the world. Give them the ability to defend themselves against it.
Sure.
That's what they believe Wakanda should have done from the beginning. They should had the power, the technology, and everything to be able to stop the repression that they faced. And they didn't do anything about it.
Very supremacist.
Right. And so
Okay.
the fact that they didn't do anything about it, his thought is, let's just go and I want you to kill everybody. He says, I want you to kill the person doing it. And if they have families,
Kill them.
kill the families too. Just kill them all.
So, see now that's
That sounds like a Gladiator-esque
Kind of.
storyline.
Okay, agreed. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this last night, but do you feel like all the publicity that's come around it because of what it is? Obviously, there's the false entitlement of this is our first black superhero because we had Blade.
Right.
We have War Machine. Now, obviously, this is the first
Yeah,
black
more than that.
superhero.
You had
You have
Will
what's-
Smith's character. He had his own movie.
Hancock's not a real superhero.
It was a superhero movie.
He was a superhero, but he's not a real superhero. We're talking about in the universe
Spawn.
of Marvel. Spawn, exactly. Spawn was fantastic. But we have this entitlement that's been going around of saying this is the first. If you're not African American and you don't like this movie, there's a problem because this is your first time of being on the big screen as a superhero, which is complete bullshit. Complete bullshit.
I don't have a problem with it.
Do
I
you
really
feel
don't.
like it has played to its success to where it's at right now? Or-
I think did it play to its success? No. Did it find an audience? Definitely. Was an audience out there to be found? Obviously.
Right. Because it made billions.
You know, back in the day, movies that featured black actors and actresses were called black exploitation.
Black exploitation films.
Yeah, because they did it. I mean, you had Blackula, the Black Dracula. You had Superfly.
You should see Black Dynamite.
You know,
Amazing.
exactly. But you had those type of movies that, you know, really didn't. Everything was stereotypical, very stereotypical.
Right.
So to have this, to be an equal to Iron Man, to be an equal to Thor and those people, I think that's very important. I think that's very important, and I think that's why it resonated so well with a lot of people. And, you know, go for it. I don't care.
Okay.
You know, in the comics, Nick Cage is white, but it's Samuel L. Jackson playing the part.
Right.
Is that a problem?
I think what it did is
Cage.
it broadened the horizon of who likes superhero movies.
Exactly.
Nick Fury.
Nick
Because
Fury, right?
you don't have like Thor and the Avengers and all that shit. Let's be realistic. You either have white people or nerds of any descent. But
That's a
now
very good
with Black Panther, it's more of a action-based superhero movie,
Right.
Because it's not, you know, oh, he can fly or he has a hammer that, you know, can kill people. It's within, you know, it's an internal power that he has of the blood of a panther, whatnot. But it's more of like an action movie versus just a superhero movie.
Right.
That's why I really liked it from what we saw last night versus, you know, the cheesy storylines like Spider-Man. I hate those movies.
What is it about it that you hate?
It's just cheesy. Like, for me, I love something with a great storyline,
Okay.
but that's something that's a little bit more realistic. Now, yes, Black Panther's not uber realistic, but like my movies, you know, are gonna be your Gladiators, your End of Watch, something that has a good storyline but is jam-packed with action. Mm-hmm. And this seemed to follow the line of a lot of action and a great storyline to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's what I liked.
I can understand that. I understand that. I just wonder because whether it be social media or people I know through work or whatever, it seems like the consensus that I've been getting from the movie is if you're African American or from African American descent, you'll really enjoy the movie. If you're not, it's an okay movie.
See, and I didn't get that. I went in with low expectations. And be honest with you, I'll be honest. When they first said that they were going to do a Black Panther, I was like, who cares?
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't care to see it.
You didn't think that his presence in Civil War was enough to justify its own film? Or it wasn't intriguing enough to justify you sitting in a movie and paying $12 to see a film?
I didn't care to see it.
Okay.
I didn't care to see it. And whether it's shallow-minded or whatever, I didn't. And I'm glad I did because I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it a lot. But we'll see. So my whole thought with this whole thing with the Marvel Universe, where the hell is Deadpool?
That's a great question.
I'd like to see Deadpool show up and do something.
Well, I think partly because they're doing Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
That's supposed to
Yeah.
release soon.
I think that the plans for Infinity Wars, at least one, came before Disney snatched up 20th Century
Probably.
and really snatched up everything that's there.
Probably.
Could we see him in 2? Probably
No,
very unlikely.
I see it for the simple aspect. There's been some little Easter egg in the aspect of Ryan Reynolds, what do you call it? Instagram? Of posting a picture signed by Tony Stark that says, Dear Deadpool, thanks for your interest in becoming an Avenger. Unfortunately, I'm sad to report this will never happen.
Well, here's my thing, and we'll jump into Deadpool because we are 2 weeks out from Deadpool
1 week.
2? 1 week
Next
out from
weekend.
Deadpool 2. Okay, Deadpool 1 was probably one of the best superhero films comedically to come out in
Well, and
years.
more for an adult.
More
Yeah.
for the
It,
adult.
it was the adult comedy.
well,
adult
but
comic.
you can take that and spin it towards. It was the first one before Logan came out.
yeah.
When
Yeah,
Logan
yeah.
came out, Logan broke the barrier for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
I think. And I know a lot of Deadpool fans are going to say, no, wait, Deadpool set that standard first. I think Logan set the standard for your serious. There's some
Right.
comedy in it,
Right.
but you got your serious R-rated film.
You never
that
took Deadpool
isn't about
serious.
F this, F that.
Right.
It was blood. It was some cursing when it was needed, but
Wolverine never looked at the camera and started talking to the people in the theater.
it's
Right.
true.
Right.
True. Now, with Deadpool 2 coming out, do you know anything about Deadpool 2? Outside of the few things in the trailer, have you watched any YouTube videos to
No.
explain to you what's coming?
It's something to do with the little kid that has powers,
Okay.
like a mutant.
do you know the group that he's bringing to the screen?
The X-Force.
X-Force.
Right.
And the X-Force is going to be our first time seeing Deadpool in his, I wouldn't say his natural light with a group, but he is the one that started X-Force to, like, the anti-X-Men, in a sense, in the comic book series. So I'm excited to see where their writing goes with X-Force, and if it's something that this is a one-off for Deadpool 2, or if this is something that they could spin into something completely different with the universe. Obviously, in the preview, there's a joke of we want somebody who's young enough that can carry 2 to 3 movies on their own. But is this something that we're gonna see with the Deadpool universe being what it is, or is this just gonna be a one-off for Deadpool 2 to bring Cable in?
I'd like to see them be able to break off and get away from superhero movies for a while.
Yep.
I think they're oversaturated. You're mentioning he's bringing X-Force, and I'm like, okay, why not? We've got the Justice League, we've got the Avengers, we've got the second showing of the Avengers. We've got all these different
Suicide
groups.
Squad.
Suicide Squad. We've got all these different groups. Let's just go back to doing movies that didn't have anything to do with superheroes.
Well, the downfall to that is today's day and age politically, so many actors are scared to do certain roles.
Right.
I agree with you 100%.
And that's what, like Joe Rogan, and then we'll talk about, is you have all these A-list actors that used to, they didn't care if there were guns in a movie, or they didn't care if this was in a movie.
Right.
But now, because of everything that's gone on politically and non-politically in the world,
Right.
they're scared and they don't want them to be the face of that movie when it entails guns or certain things like that.
So how do we change things? Granted, the Me Too issue had to come to light. It had to be focused on. It had to be taken
Right.
care of. How do we go beyond that now? How do we fix it to where it's okay to make a movie,
Yeah.
and not worry about.
Well, and to be able to
backlash?
make light of certain situations.
I think it'll happen the day they make the movie about the Me Too movement.
Well, you've got that, or I honestly think that's the one area where, going back to superhero, where Ryan Reynolds' character of Deadpool kind of does that, is he makes light of every situation
Right.
there is,
Right.
and doesn't give a shit because it's quote-unquote his character,
Right.
but it's also going to do no bad publicity for Ryan Reynolds. They
Right.
see it as that's the character speaking, not the person.
I agree with
And
that.
that's where the sensitivity of today's society needs to understand. Take a frickin' joke.
Right.
Just enjoy the movie for what it is. If you didn't enjoy the movie, you don't have to watch it again.
Right.
There's no reason to, oh my God, my feelings were hurt. Let's, bash the world. No. You didn't like the movie. Great. Get over it. I watched a lot of movies and ended up not liking them.
Right.
Like me being a military veteran. I told you this the other day. The 15-17 to Paris.
Right.
Thought it would be an incredible movie because, well, it's a true story. It's a Clint Eastwood movie.
Right.
All the people
Amazing
who were in it.
director. It had the actual victims
Right.
and heroes of the movie playing themselves. Worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Was it the acting?
Yes.
It was the
And
acting. I thought it was going to be the acting.
It's what I told Allie is, so you take the lone survivor, Marcus Luttrell and Mark Wahlberg.
Right.
Marcus Luttrell is smart enough and says, hey, I want my story to be told, but I'm not an actor, so I just want to be in the movie,
Right.
but have a lead man and a well-known one that's good
Right.
play my story.
Right.
And so that's what he did. The unfortunate part of the 1517 to Paris is they're three childhood best friends that have known each other for over 20 years, and yet the conversation on screen is, hey, dude. You don't talk like that. Like, it's you and I, the three of us talking right now.
Right.
That's how you actually talk to your friends and your family.
Right.
So why, just because you're on screen, would you now talk about what you're like that? You know,
Agreed.
it's just they
It seemed
should have
a little forced than it was.
So, and
natural.
that's the issue is they had A-list actors throughout the entire movie
Right.
playing PE teachers or the principal and things like that. So why don't you instead play a PE teacher or a bystander on the train and
Right.
have a real A-list actor, even a B-list actor, who knows how to act, play your role?
Because I think, honestly, even though the movie wasn't good, because of that, I think the whole point of it was to not let it get drawn out by Hollywood. I think that's very much a Clint Eastwood move, is to say, I don't want this to be drawn out by Hollywood. I want this to be the story itself.
Well, he's
Which is
also
why
the
you
only
place
director.
the people where they're at.
He's the only director that was willing to do the movie.
Which makes sense. Which makes sense because that's him. He would make that risky move to do something like that
Yep.
and portray this story in that form.
Well, and I mean, the book's the number one selling book. They wrote a book first. They sent it to Clint Eastwood and said, we'd love for you to direct it. He said, absolutely. It just so happens that he didn't put them in a small part, unfortunately. And I mean, I think it's got like a 13% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, so he's a smart guy. He's a smart director. He's made phenomenal movies.
Yeah.
Torino's probably still one of my favorites.
Yes.
$1 Million Baby.
Right.
Yeah, he is phenomenal as a director. So why'd he do it? Was it a publicity stunt?
I don't think it's a
I don't
publicity
think so.
stunt. I think he's a true American, and he wanted to get the story out. Saw that no one else was willing to, and what does he have to lose? He's still gonna make more movies that have all the A-list actors in it because it's Clint fucking Eastwood,
Right.
and
true.
you don't have to worry about boo-hoo.
This
I
isn't
have
gonna kill my career.
right. I have one Nick on my resume.
And even then, there's still gonna be those fans
But are
that
people
watch that movie and think,
okay, are people going to remember the story? Or are they going to remember that was a horrible movie?
They're gonna remember it's a horrible movie.
So then did he solve it? Did he, you
No,
know?
he didn't do it
Well,
justice.
I disagree. I think that I think for some like yourself and others who watch the film, they're going to see it as this is a horrible movie because the actors who are portraying themselves aren't natural at all, and this is horrible. And I think you're going to see some who are going to be like, but the story overpowers the fact that the acting wasn't that good.
But don't you
Period.
think people would have liked to have said, I'd like to focus on the story and not be distracted by how bad it is?
I do, and I think that maybe
Only the brave.
okay.
The
Incredible
19
movie. Incredible
firefighters
movie.
from Yavapai. Incredible movie.
I was super surprised by it.
Incredible story.
Well, it's just like the other one you were just watching today, 12 Strong.
Right.
Another, yes, they used A-list actors, but I don't remember it for the acting. I remember it for the story.
right.
But it's because
The
it
acting
had
was good.
the accompaniment of good acting.
Right.
I'll agree with you because we go back to Lone Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yep.
I don't care what you say. Not the greatest actor in the world.
No.
Right.
He really isn't.
Right.
I think he gets paid for his name,
Yep.
not his acting ability. But that film is still my all-time favorite war film that's been put out.
Watch 12 Strong.
I will eventually, but that lone for me it was the grittiness of the up close to everything that was happening, the story, the cinematography, the just everything that's encapsulated in that movie to me, it makes it the all-time greatest that I've seen up to this point, obviously. Not because Mark Wahlberg's in it, not because of the 3 supporting characters that are in it as well, but just the overall story, because you see this movie and you see the previews for this movie and you don't realize till the end that there's another underlying story with the village and the people taking him in and what they sacrificed to protect this one person is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I feel like it shows the kindness and the good in humanity, whether you're white, Arab, black, Native American, Hindu, whatever it is. Just the overall
Japanese.
human kindness, Japanese, Chinese.
Korean,
We can go all day.
Thai, Indian,
But it carries
Brazilian.
just the fact that you can be a good human being no matter what your race is and no matter who you're trying to protect or take care of. It doesn't matter. And I think ultimately, for me, that's what made Lone Survivor so brilliantly done. The story, everything, just amazing.
I agree. I think it was a great movie.
Yeah.
I think my best favorite part about the whole movie is never once did he say hi to your mother for me, would you?
Hey, how you doing? Say hi to your mom for me.
So
I mean, but
You're awful.
what happens next? He goes on, does Transformers 6, and it blew. Even though we went to this movie set, or outside the movie set, we got to see all the different things. The movie still sucked ass. But, you know,
It should have
it is what
stopped
it is.
after 3.
I should have stopped after 2. I didn't need anything anymore after that. But that's just
Realistically,
me.
it should have stopped when Megan Fox left.
Oh, she was horrible. She killed the first 2. But that's just me. I won't go on about it. I won't go on about it.
You little pansy.
Yeah. I'm excited. That Celine Dion video was amazing.
Ashes.
fuck are you
Ashes. It was a
talking
great
about?
song.
Deadpool.
I thought the song was really good. I posted it in my team room at work just because I thought we have a lot of Deadpool fans on my team, and I thought the song itself is the next My Heart Will Go On, in my opinion, because it's so emotionally driven. But the comedy in it was just perfect. Perfect for the character. I thought it was a strange choice for Deadpool 2, which makes me, I think, more intrigued, which was the whole point of it, was to get you more intrigued to the movie, because why would you put such a strong, powerful song out before you release the film? And you don't expect that when you're thinking Deadpool. You're expecting laughs, ha ha ha, whatever. But then you hear a song like that come out, and you see the video for it, and you wonder, wait a minute, what's actually going on here with this movie? And I think it achieved its purpose by intriguing more people and getting more people to come out. I don't think, my question I guess here is, do you think Deadpool 2 will break Deadpool 1 numbers?
Yes.
Probably.
Maybe right out the gate, because more people are privy to the fact that Deadpool is an amazing character. But do you think, and I know you're probably going to say no, do you think Logan shows up?
No.
Even in the smallest of cameos.
Logan's dead.
Superman was dead too, but he showed up.
Yeah. I hope not. I
Really?
Hope not. Yeah. I don't need to see it.
Agreed.
I don't need to see it. So, I don't know. But who's to say, that this is not happening? Because Logan is supposedly in the future.
Sure, right.
So
Right.
who's to say that he can't?
Very
So
true.
that's always a possibility. You know what I read the other day that kind of surprised me? Thursday nights at Cook County Jail is going to start becoming Jello pudding night.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Hey. What you guys think about that?
Easy.
Fat Albert's coming to play.
Hey, baby.
Well, that's the issue.
I give it
though.
a year.
I don't see him actually being in quote unquote prison.
No, he is. He's going to be sentenced.
Yeah, he'll be in an actual prison.
It'll be max
But
security.
I don't care if it's max security. He will be in segregation the entire time.
Absolutely.
Because of his high profile.
I give it a
ness.
year. He's already on the downward slope as it is.
Unfortunately, and what
It is what it is.
What a way to ruin a legacy.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, can you have sympathy for that? You screwed it up yourself. It's your problem. That
He used his pudding pop to get him in trouble.
I mean, Muhammad Ali had how many knockouts?
Fuck if I know.
You know,
And he never used pills.
and he never used pills. And look at Cosby with 30. So, I mean, it's a good record. But, I don't know.
Ba-dum-bump.
I feel like, here's my thing, and I know this is going to be a controversial take, so shoot me now. But I feel like there are a lot of people, there are a lot of women that I don't think that the true number's 30.
You think there's more?
I think there's less.
Well, it's possible.
I really do.
It's possible.
I don't think it's like drastic. There's only 10. Like, I'm not going to be stupid and be like, oh, there's only 10. I think there are a lot of women who may have had an encounter with him and are now jumping onto the train of Me Too, who may not necessarily had those. I did hear that. I don't think they may not have necessarily had those experiences with him.
Right.
But we're sitting at 30 now, and he's going to get, 30 years for it? Because of this situation and how many have come out.
I also think there's a statute of limitation
Well,
to where...
Should
there
there
definitely
be?
is.
Should there be?
Well,
Yes and no?
if you have a statute of limitation on everything else, you can't not justify having a statute of limitations for this kind of situation.
I get the aspect of, this happened to a lot of people, and he is a quote-unquote powerful person with who he is. And it's hard for, Jane Doe to come forward and say, oh, I was raped by Bill Cosby, and them to take you seriously. Right. So I think initially, with the first person having the gall to actually go public with it.
Right.
But I also, like you said, I don't think it's 30 people. Or you have these other celebrities, that said that they were pilled by Bill Cosby, and yet they're just as famous. Why didn't they come up and say something?
Yeah.
That's the part that I have an issue with. It's like it happened. What was the most recent one? 20 years ago?
No.
Or was it less?
I think it's less.
Okay.
I think it's less because the whole reason he went to court was because there was one that was within the statute of limitations that they could press charges for.
Okay. And the rest then started coming forward.
The rest was basically just piling on at that point, which I think swayed the jury, because how can you not be a juror and say, well, there's 30 accounts, so must be true.
Right.
When you're only really there for one person or two people that fall within the statute of limitations. Now, am I saying he didn't do it? No. Obviously, something happened. But, I mean, I don't know.
We're not going to get into politics.
Yes.
But why, and I know you said there should be a statute of limitations, why have we gone away from when something is wrong,
you say something,
that it's wrong? That we don't all agree that it's wrong, that it has to become a black-white issue.
Social media.
It has to become,
social media.
Social media.
I think that's the answer.
Social
why.
media.
Because at the end of the day, no matter whether you agree or not, everybody wants to be liked.
Right.
And have the approval of others.
Right.
And they don't like to see their headlines, Joe Schmo accused of rape, right?
Right.
And then it says Jane Doe came forward.
Right.
Well, now Jane Doe, because Joe Schmo had all of these followers, Jane Doe now has death threats, or you're a whore, or you're a slut, whatever it may be. They get this backlash because something bad happened to them in life.
Right.
And now on a social media platform, literally anybody in the world can then come right to your front door via a cell phone notification.
Right.
And they're beating you up mentally.
But we've gotten to a point where it's okay to be dishonest.
Right.
It's acceptable to lie. You don't have to have values. You don't have to have morals. As long as they line up with my morals.
Right.
And I know we've always been a country like that. However, it's more so now, and it's over every little thing. And it's sad, and it makes me worried for the world that my grandkids are going to grow up in.
Right.
I mean, you know.
Well, it's like 13 Reasons Why. It was supposed to launch in March.
Right.
The second season.
Right.
It got pushed back due to the Parkland shooting.
Right.
And the second season just so happens to be about a school shooting.
Right.
And so that's why they then had to pull it back, get all of their publicity under wraps.
Right.
And reshoot a safety advisory with the actors at the beginning of every episode stating, you know, if you see someone or are concerned with someone, you know, and you feel like your school is not taking the proper measures, go to the authorities.
Right.
Because everybody's so sensitive to every little thing there is.
I know when 13 Reasons Why came out, people said,
right.
Oh, it's pushing people to want to commit suicide.
Right, exactly.
It's glorifying suicide. I didn't see it as glorifying suicide.
I didn't see it as glorifying suicide at all.
I thought it was a real, true
I thought what
depiction.
Its depiction was meant to be
Right.
was how, whether you think you're a bully or not, and it showed 13 different ways that even though you didn't know you were being a bully,
right,
you could be, and it could take that person to that line.
Right.
And it showed, you know, every demographic
right.
and ethnicity. Hey, like, one, talk to somebody if you have issues.
Right.
And two, don't be a shitty person.
Right.
Like, that's what I took from it. Like,
Right.
don't be and it went in depth, like when she slit her wrists and everything.
Right. Oh, it did.
Don't be a shitty person.
It
like,
did.
reach out to that person that you normally wouldn't.
Right.
You know, go sit down at the lunch table with the kid that gets picked on.
Right.
Because that one friend could change their world.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I think next time or next episode, we'll have to change the location.
Yeah, it's a little muggy.
Muggy, but I think the crickets
Yeah.
are going to come up on the sound.
Yeah.
That's going to be a little... But it definitely
Valid.
is muggy tonight.
Valid. So I got a fat guy of the week.
Uh-oh.
He's a celebrity too.
Uh-oh.
Louis Anderson.
No. Just because he's a fat guy of the week doesn't mean it has to be fat.
Well, you said fat guy.
Fat guy of the week, yeah. So, do you guys know who Ken Jeong is?
Yeah.
Anybody see what he did this weekend?
He was recently here.
Was he in
He-
Phoenix this week?
Yeah, he was at
Yep.
Tempe Improv.
Stand Up Live.
Okay.
So, Ken Jeong. Most people would know him from The Hangovers
Right.
as what's the character's name?
He wasn't Wong, was he?
Yeah.
No, it was I don't remember. He was the Asian guy with the
The
small-
gangster.
small dick.
Kick a can, you'll get his name.
Yeah. Community. He had a show.
Dr. Ken.
Dr. Ken, which is real life situations that he went through. Well, not real life, but comedically charged versions of his life because he was a doctor at one point. Interesting story if you ever get to read up on him. He's a really interesting guy. So he came to Phoenix. He was at Stand Up Live Comedy Club on Saturday night, and during his routine, a woman by the name of Heather Holmberg apparently started having a seizure.
Oh, shit.
3 rows in, he stopped his show and provided medical assistance to make sure that she was okay and took care of her as a doctor. I'm naming him Fat Guy of the Week because how many comedians do you know just stop what they're doing to help a patron of his show get through a medical crisis like this? Now, I don't know if you can say a seizures crisis because I don't know if this is a regular thing for her. But still, I mean, just the heart on someone to do that is fantastic.
You can die from seizures.
You can definitely die from a seizure.
If I'm not mistaken, he was actually a neurosurgeon.
Let me see if this says anything about it here.
Could
Hats
be
off
wrong.
to Mr. Chow.
He could. Mr. Chow. Leslie
That's what
Chow.
it is. Yep.
There it is.
That's what it is. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, though, he was an actual, a pretty well-renowned
He was.
neurosurgeon.
He was, and he actually stopped because his wife. If I get this wrong, I apologize. But his wife was diagnosed with something that was life critical, and he quit his doctor work that he was doing to take care of her, and then eventually, I don't know if she got better or if she passed, one of the two, because that's what you do if you get sick, and he wound up going into movies and comedy, and now he does stand-up comedy, which he's apparently really good at, from what I've heard.
Did you see who's coming there in June?
Who's that?
Jeremy Piven.
Jeremy Piven.
Right.
That's interesting. Like, what kind of show would that be?
He does stand-up. He's done
he
stand-up for years.
I would see it. I
be.
would, just to see Piven. Yeah.
And he went through so much of the Me Too movement allegations.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah.
So he
See, I
actually
never saw any of his.
was on the show that I loved on CBS. The fuck was it called? Give me a second.
It wasn't
and I'll-
Scorpio. I know what you're talking about. They canceled it.
It was a new show.
Yeah.
Just give me a second and I'll tell you what it was.
Yeah, I still
Wisdom of the Crowd.
Right.
It's called Wisdom of the Crowd, where you turn social media, but it was social media not in the aspect of Facebook. It was Facebook-esque, but to help solve crimes.
Right.
And I loved the show. I thought it was really cool. But they completely pulled and canceled the show because he had allegations of being part of the Me Too movement.
Right.
Okay.
And it's just like, what's his name from The Ranch?
Yeah.
Danny
Matherson. That
Yep.
was horrible.
And did you see who's taking his place?
Who?
Oh, I just read it the other day. It kind of surprised me.
The guy from 2.5 Men?
No.
Dougie.
No. It was a big name kid.
Dak Shepard.
Yeah, Dax Shepard.
Taking his place in what way?
Well, he'll be the new
Introducing a new character?
character, yeah.
I could see that.
Like a long lost brother or something.
I could see
like
that because I really like Dax Shepard too.
Yeah.
I feel like he doesn't get enough credit anymore.
Yeah.
Whether you saw Chips or not,
I did.
thought it was fantastic.
I wouldn't say fantastic. It was funny.
I
wouldn't say
enjoyed
fantastic.
it. It was better than I expected it to be. And I didn't go into it with much, which is probably why I thought it was so great.
He
Because
was always good in Parenthood.
Parenthood, he got his start on Punk'd with
Ashton Kutcher, right?
So it's like it's a perfect fit.
No, it really is a perfect fit. And if you look at it, Ashton Kutcher's turning into more of like the Adam Sandler that likes to create shows with his friends.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree.
So he had Danny on. Now he's gonna have Dak Shepard on.
Yeah,
and
I would
it's
agree.
bringing the friends in. I will say
Hopefully he doesn't get to the point of Adam Sandler where it's so bad.
the week of. Oh my
Oh,
god.
God, you still just take the money.
Oh my god.
Take the money. The week of was horrible.
Yeah, absolutely horrendous.
Okay, here's my question.
Yeah,
Controversial, whatever.
sure.
Goes on to the Me Too movement. You're writing a film.
Mm-hmm.
You got the perfect part. You got the perfect guy to do it. But he's a part of the Me Too movement.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Spacey. Do you hire him?
No, Spacey's done.
Yeah, you won't see him anymore.
I would.
Here's the reason.
I would.
Here's the reason you don't see Spacey.
Why?
Because it has to deal with children. That's why you don't see Spacey again.
I will valid. I
It has
agree.
to
I agree.
do-
You will never see him again. But if you had the opportunity to put him in a dream role, would you
No.
put him in it?
Nope.
I definitely would. I'm sorry, but the same reason why fucking Philly fans are okay with Michael Vick, Pittsburgh fans were okay with Michael Vick. The guy brutalized and killed dogs for years, went to jail, and he came back and played football.
Well,
I would hire Kevin Spacey because he's that fucking good at acting.
Okay, but you know why?
Sorry, I'm yelling.
You know why they took Phillies? The Phillies liked him
What?
because he played for the Eagles. He didn't play baseball. He played football. He was quarterback.
Well, yeah, he's talking about Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
That's why he's saying Philly.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Philly took him.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like,
I'm in the baseball frame of mind right now.
you want.
So,
I don't know. I personally, I understand. I get it. But if I had the dream role for him, I'm not going to say no.
But
if he's
isn't
the only
it-
person I can think of doing the role, I'm hiring him.
but then isn't it offensive to the people that he abused and
Yes.
the culture he abused?
Don't go
Yes.
see my film.
Well, That's why people won't do it, because
that
they're
goes-
afraid that's what's going to happen.
Exactly. That goes right back to the main topic we were talking about. When can Hollywood stop being so sensitive about
I
it?
don't know, and that's the question.
I think what you have to do, though, is in order to make that movie with Kevin Spacey, he would have to, one, prove himself or go to jail, which I don't think he'd make it out of with his
Definitely
charges.
not. Obviously not.
But it couldn't be his first movie back. It would have to be 5 movies in.
What do you expect to be his first movie back?
He's not going to. Nobody's
kid's
going to
movie.
hire him.
A kids movie?
No, not a damn kids movie. But nobody's going to hire
Bugs
him.
Life 2?
That's the issue, you know.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I mean, all I keep thinking about with Kevin Spacey is the poor kid and Pay It Forward. How did Spacey pay it forward to him?
Oh God!
Haley Joel Osment. Is that why he still doesn't really act much anymore?
That's why he can't act anymore. He's so scared of it.
I don't know. He was great in Tusk, and he was also great in what was the other film I saw? He was in something else I saw recently that I was like, yeah, he's really good. I wish they'd give him more acting roles.
But that's the issue. Is I wish.
Entourage. He was great.
Great
Yeah.
in Entourage.
He was great.
Great in Entourage.
I just wish people would get rid of the whole. I'm too scared to do a role because of what others will think. You know, like, just be confident in yourself and who you are as a person. And the world needs to understand it's a fucking character.
The world needs more people like Mel Gibson. I mean, he really went on the rant. He said everything he had to say, and they took their best shots. He's still making movies.
Right.
He's still directing. He's still starring in movies, and people are still going to see him. And they're making Lethal Weapon 5. I'll go see it.
Are they really?
Yep,
I would go see it.
I'll go see it. That's a
Don't.
good television
Danny
show.
Glover, though.
What about Danny Glover?
I mean, he's got a new movie coming out, and I saw him in the preview and I was like, shit. You're too old for this shit.
That's makeup. That's makeup.
I just don't. I can't see. Speaking of movies, new Star Wars, the Solo movie.
I'm psyched.
Mm-hmm.
You're nuts.
Fucking psyched.
I
wanna
won't
see
watch it. I fell. The
You're
movie,
too stuck up about movies, though, so
No.
I understand.
the Star Wars that we all went to go see together, I
didn't
fell
like.
asleep in
Yeah.
because it was so bad.
Because you don't like movies.
I love movies.
It was long and drawn out.
It was long. It was drawn out.
It
The
was.
acting sucked.
I disagree.
I'm
Whatever
not
you say.
necessarily rushing to the theater to see Solo.
Oh, I will not go see it day one.
I want
I'll
to see
a
it.
couple weeks after.
I'll wait until it comes out on video. I want to see it because Ron Howard directed it. That's why I
one
want
of
to
the
see
big
it.
drawing factors of it too.
So,
So here's the issue I have with Disney taking over Star Wars, is they paid $10 billion to George Lucas,
Right.
and they're trying to recuperate their money as quick as possible. So every year on the mark, they're releasing a new movie. But in all reality, if you took, instead of every year, and did every 2.5, took the time to build a true storyline and not some cheesy ass shit, or got someone that actually looked like Han Solo, like Harrison Ford, you'd be good to
He
go.
looks just fine.
You're nuts.
He looks just fine. And I can't wait. I'm a Donald Glover fan, so I want to see him as Lando. Did you see Saturday Night Live by chance?
no,
Did you see any of the clips from it?
I've got it saved. I haven't watched
Oh
it.
my god. There was one skit they did. I think it was called Prison Jobs. I can relate to it working in a call center because it's 3 prison inmates in jail working at a call center within the jail. And he's all sitting there talking to him like, man, this guy came up to me in the shower. I took my pants down. I ripped him. I looked him in the eye. He's like, hold on. Answers the phone. It's a wonderful Wednesday morning. How are you today? Finishes the call, ends up, and I took my crap and I threw it at him. It's the funniest thing ever because working in a call center, we have these conversations all the time where it's like, man, and then I was doing this, and then I was doing, hold on. Thank you for calling such and such. How are you doing today?
Right.
Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to help you with that. And then go right back to the conversations. It was topical and funny. And his whole thing he did last night was topical and funny.
Well, yeah, but is Star Wars supposed to be funny?
No.
No. Is Lando supposed to be funny?
He's not going to be
No.
funny. You haven't given it a chance.
I'm not going to.
Well, that's because you're stubborn.
Yes, we
Just-
all know this.
All you have to do is just shut up and see it. That's it.
But I'll hate it.
Don't invest emotion or anything. The minute you start investing emotion and shit into movies is when you become disappointed. I love Super Troopers. Why? Because I don't fucking expect anything from it, and it's hilarious. I really want to see the second one. Why? Because I don't expect anything from it. I just expect to be laughing, and if they can make me laugh once or twice in the film, I'm fucking golden. It was worth the $10 to see it. All these people these days are like, if it's not an Academy Award winning film, it's not worth my fucking time. And it's like, why? You live life for 100 years if you're lucky. At our rate, maybe 70. Enjoy the little things in life. Don't invest too much in the fact that it's not the way I want it to be. Just fucking see it for what it is. And enjoy it. Enjoy life. The universe goes by way too quickly. Let it happen. Alright, I'm done. I'm not ranting anymore. Fuck.
My goodness.
I'm just saying. I have a new outlook on life now.
Oh, really?
In the last couple weeks, I've just had this different outlook on life where it's like.
What happened? Did you get locked in the back seat of a car?
I get your viewpoint. I
just have a different point of view.
Yeah.
And looking at.
Do I need to get you and Donald Glover into the back seat of a car?
No. Well, I'm not gay, but he is what it is. But all I'm saying is.
Oh, you gay?
It's not the first time someone said that about me. But all I'm saying is that with this new outlook on life, it's just we reflect so much as people on. Go back to social media. Does this post make me look this way? Do my point of views look this way? Some people don't care, and that's when people get offended when they say stupid shit. But just let it roll off your shoulders and move on with life, because ultimately it's your life that matters. And if you're happy where you're at, be happy. And
I can agree with that to a certain extent. Not when it comes to watching a fucking movie, but with life in general, I can agree with that.
But when you're watching a movie, you're living life. So just let life happen. Enjoy, like right now, this is perfect. It's hot, it's muggy, we're outside, it's pitch black out here. All I can see is the computer screen and my hand. But, it's nice. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the fact that I'm outside living, breathing air, smoking a cigarette, and just enjoying life. Because ultimately, how many more years do I have?
About 3.
I'm fine with that.
About
you told
3.
me I would die in 3 years. I'm fine with that.
And that is our segment of Deep Thoughts by Carter Schreg.
Let your mind just expand and be what it is.
Next week on our hotline, we'll be taking live calls.
Please email me if you agree. I want to hear your point of view. If you don't agree, tell me why.
What is it? No, just Facebook us.
The Fat Life. What is
just
it?
Facebook us. I don't even remember the fucking
It's the Fat Life Podcast at gmail.com. But Facebook, we don't follow Facebook anymore. Message me on Facebook. I want to hear your point of view. I want to know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
On if you and Donald Glover should get a room.
If that's what you want to talk about in your message me. I'm all for it, and I'll tell you exactly what I would do if I was in that situation.
What would you do?
I won't answer it until someone asks.
I just asked.
Okay, if I was in a room with Donald Glover,
Let's have it. Let's leave it from Facebook.
Yeah.
You take that chocolate lollipop to the dome.
It wouldn't. Pudding pop. Just let it be.
Special boy.
It's the same thing with music, though. Like I started listening to different things in music, and just like, I'm starting to understand your point of view on music.
What is it?
You like the stuff that mellows you out and just is calming.
I have to have something that mellows me out.
So we draw the line at mariachi bands.
Mariachi, no.
No, I was telling Carter I can't do like the hype music because it drives me insane. I need something.
Super
My
mellow.
mind's already going 90 miles an hour. I need something that just kind of calms me out.
And I get that because that's your personality. Whereas for myself, to get up and go to work and get through the morning, I need something that's maybe a little more, thumping as hard as it can, something that puts me in the mood. Lately, I've been listening to a little bit more Sublime, a little reggae, a little folk, and something just a little more mellow. And it gets me going. but I still feel like there's times where I need something that thumps, but that's my personality and being opened up to new versions of music lately. I get your point of view now, because there are times at night where I'll throw on a Sublime record and just, I'm good. Like I'm not thinking about what I'm gonna do in this situation, or what I'm gonna do in that situation, how I'm gonna pay these bills, how I'm gonna pay this person, or I'm not thinking about that, because I'm just relaxed. And I get that now, because I gave you such a hard time about that for so long. I'm at that point now in my life where I can.
You're growing up.
Exactly. I'm understanding. Like,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need this in order to get my mind right. I can listen to something completely different that I may not have given a chance 5 weeks ago. Now I give it a chance. I'm like, I get it. I vibe with it.
I listen to books on tape.
I love, if I could find I want to do the Game of Thrones series on tape.
You know what you need?
Because I know I would not be able to sit there and read the whole thing.
You need the Audible book that I currently have.
Which is what?
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
I would love that. I would definitely love that.
I have the book if you want the actual book.
I would read it.
I have it at home.
I would read it, because I think that would help me a lot. Because I think Dad, I definitely know I overthink everything.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I've got, I like the self-help books. I've got Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I've got The Counterintuitive Approach to Unfucking Yourself.
Okay. I love these titles.
You Are a Badass.
I love that one too.
There's You Are a Badass at Making Money. And there's a new one by Sean Wallen that's actually really good too. I just can't remember the name of it.
I definitely could use that.
I'll get you some.
Just open up my mind too.
Audible books is the way to go. I'm hoping that.
I like Audible. Here's my problem with Audible. I don't necessarily like the fact that it's now owned by a big corporation that will remain nameless for specific reasons.
What are you talking about?
They're owned by Amazon.
Who? Oh, yeah.
And it puts a damper on it for me.
Yeah.
Personally, just a personal opinion. But I used to be a big Audible person. I listened to Kevin Smith's autobiography on Audible that he read himself.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. And I love those experiences because, I listen to podcasts in the car.
Yep.
Lately it's been a lot of music, but podcasts, radio shows, I'd rather have that to mellow me out on my hour-and-a-half drive home every night now. Because, I used to work from home. People on the show know that. I used to work from home. Now I go to Mesa, which for people who don't live in Arizona, I live 50 miles away from my office. So driving in every morning, driving home at the worst time at night. Sometimes I don't want to vibe with music. Sometimes I want to hear other people's thoughts and opinions.
Exactly.
And a book.
People, you read books?
I do.
What's the last one you read? Or listened to, if that was the last thing you did?
No, I read. I think the last thing I read was I can't remember the title of it. It was a different book, and I'd say what it was.
Caitlyn Jenner's biography?
No, that's bathroom read.
No, he's got Chelsea Manning's Playboy spread.
No, there's a book out on. Okay, there's a book out on the bestseller list right now. It's called Lincoln in the Bardo.
Okay.
And it's a novel, and it's fiction, but it's based on some nonfiction. And the nonfiction part of it is when Lincoln's son died in the White House, they took him and put him in a mausoleum in a cemetery close to Washington, the capital. And Lincoln used to go there at night and open up the mausoleum and take his son and hold his son at night.
Oh, wow.
And he did this for months.
Kind of as like a coping mechanism?
Right. That's the true part about it. The novel is how the dead people in the cemetery are reacting to this man coming in and doing something that is against everything that you believe in.
Okay. That's interesting.
And they talk as they're telling the story. It's got an Our Town feel to it, and as they're telling the story, it's all from different people that have died in the cemetery, but they're also telling about what's going on with Lincoln and everything, and the current country, what was going on and everything. But it's more coming to terms with death, and it's really an interesting. That was an interesting book. And before that was Ready Player One. I loved that book. That was a good book.
I loved the movie.
Yeah, book was really good. Book was a little bit better than the movie, but it was still good. Yeah, I don't listen like Audible. Lynn does. She listens while she knits and does stuff like that. I like to read, so I'll read Stephen King, John Sanderson, Michael Connelly. You know, those are just some of the people I like.
Are you a Clive Cussler fan?
I used to be.
Yeah.
I used to own a lot of his books. Then kind of got away from it a little bit. I like Michael Connelly. He does the Bosch series, and
Which is the Amazon series.
that's
now,
an
right?
Amazon television series. There's been 4 seasons. That's an unbelievable police show because it's all procedural. It's all how it's done, and those are really good. And I like those. And then there's a couple of them. I like the Jack Reacher books. I've read a lot of those. And the movies have been pretty good. So.
Were you ever a Tom Clancy fan?
I've read them. I wouldn't say I was a fan. I read them.
Okay.
I read the Jack Ryan books.
The Jack Ryan books?
Yeah, everybody did.
Have you seen the Jack Ryan series?
It doesn't come out until August.
Oh, it hasn't come out. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm interested to see how that is. I wonder if it's if Krasinski can pull it off like he did with 13 Hours.
Wow. He did a pretty good job.
That was a good movie, too.
I liked 13
Quiet
Hours.
Place.
I thought he was really good. Quiet Place was pretty good. See, that's another skit that you have to see tonight when you
Okay.
watch Saturday Night Live, because there's a bit on that one too. But yeah, I like Krasinski, and I'm interested in this scene. I thought it was, when I first saw it, I thought it was Jack Reacher, and then when I realized it was Jack Ryan,
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what that turns out to be.
It'll be interesting. They've had a lot of different people play him.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin,
Really?
Harrison Ford, Chris Pine, Ben Affleck.
Interesting.
They've all played Jack Ryan at one point.
Huh.
So.
Huh?
But now Harrison Ford thinks he's too old for it. I liked Harrison Ford as Jack Ryan.
And what movies or shows was this?
Clear and Present Danger,
Uh-huh.
Patriot Games,
Patriot Games was a Jack Ryan.
right?
Okay.
Were those the only 2 he did? Because Sum of All Fears was Ben Affleck. Hunt for Red October was Alec Baldwin. And then they did one where he was younger, and that was Chris Pine, and I forget what the name of that one was. That was the last one they made. So, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. Some people have their vision of what Jack Ryan should be, and I don't know.
Well, it feels like it was a great first episode back.
Absolutely.
Covered a lot of subjects.
Really vibing
Very much
this.
so.
I'm really liking this flow. It's conversational. It's less,
Well, and it helps having
Scripted.
a third person.
to bounce ideas off of and everything.
Well, yeah, and it's like, this time around, it's more of the 3 of us bring stories to the table without speaking about them
Yeah.
in advance, and you're getting that actual real life, first time hearing it reaction. I think it'll be very, very beneficial.
I would like to make efforts just to see if we can get some guests on the show, whether it's by phone or whether in person. I think that would be a neat flavor to add to it too.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I know you're working on Archie Bradley.
Yeah, I sent out a request, Archie. You haven't replied back yet, Archie. You had time. You were thrown out of the game yesterday, Archie.
It would have been a great time to give us a call, but
But it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. We'll get somebody.
Well, and then you have the other one you're working on right now.
I'm
as
working
well.
on one right now from YouTube, and I won't mention his name just in case he doesn't want it. But there seems to be some correspondence going forward that he may be interested in doing it, and if he does,
that'd be definitely cool.
That would definitely be cool. That would definitely be a phone in because I believe he lives in New Jersey.
Okay,
That'd
okay.
be definitely
So,
cool.
but that
Gotta have
definitely
Scott
would be cool.
Churchison back on the show.
Yeah, we'll
again.
have Scott back on.
That I would
Proper.
love to be able to talk to him.
Well, yeah, and I think, you know, Carter and I had talked in the past, and that being our one and only guest appearance,
Yeah. We want to do it right this
yeah,
time.
Right.
do it right, do our research.
Right.
And he's more than willing to come back, and
He's been reaching.
his career's booming.
Yeah.
I've been following him a lot. His career's booming. He's, like I said, in the new season of Orange is the New Black, and in a couple new movies coming out that'll be main screen movies.
That'll be interesting to
Yeah,
see.
very much so.
That'll definitely be interesting to see.
All right. Well,
On that note, drink the good drinks, eat the good foods, and be an overall good person.
I love fat people.